Yo Joes! Welcome back to the 80s Toy Museum. This newest installment chronicling the history of the real American hero is courtesy of the latest Patreon poll. Thanks to all the supporters on Patreon for voting. It's the first time the toy line has been without the support of the Sunbow animated series since 1982. They did just fine that initial year without the help of a cartoon. Will 88 be as great? Let's find out in the real American history of G.I. Joe 1988 edition. Just like in 86 and 87, 17 single-carded figures were released in 88. 11 Joes, 3 Cobras, a Dreadnought, and 2 of the newest subgroup to join the battle. Some say the greatest subgroup of the line, and I'd be one of them. The Iron Grenadiers, plus 15 new vehicles, a mini base, 11 new motorized packs, a new mail-in figure, along with some reissues of previous mail-in figures, and lots of repainted figures and vehicles with the debut of Tiger Force and Night Force. Every year of G.I. Joe had a prominent face for the marketing, Grunt, Duke, and Falcon being previous examples, and for 88 it was Repeater, the Steadicam machine gunner. Released 2 years after Aliens had been in theaters, it's highly likely that Repeater's Steadicam gun was influenced by the weapon used by Vasquez and Drake in the James Cameron film, who popularized the concept to mass audiences.
Let's rock!
A 20-year infantry veteran, Repeater is the Joe who carries the heaviest load. The bio on his file card harkens back to the definition of a warrior by the Greek philosopher Heraclitus. Out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are the real fighters, and we are lucky to have them, for they make the battle. Ah, but the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. Speaking of warriors who are 1 in 100, Tommy Arashikage was the first figure to switch allegiances. In 1984, he got a Cobra figure. 4 years later, the Ninja Storm Shadow joined G.I. Joe. The cartoon had ended, but the Marvel comic continued, and one of the featured stories was Storm Shadow's defection to the Joe team, which his file card references. He found vengeance to be a poor substitute for life. He included a sword, a backpack to hold it, a bow, and some claws to pop. Bub. Another sword swinger in 88 was Budo, the samurai warrior. He's the embodiment of going your own path. His father was an orthodontist, grandfather was a farmer, and great-grandfather was a track worker. In addition to being a sword master, he's a skilled martial artist. Plus, he's handy with a wrench while working on his Harley. He included 2 swords, a sai, a backpack, and a removable helmet. Cooperstown's own Hardball, the multi-shot grenadier, was a huge fan of America's favorite pastime. Playing 5 seasons in the minors gave him the ability to judge distances well, making him an ideal grenadier for the Joe team. He included a grenade launcher with rotating chamber and a backpack. The Snow Joes got a new recruit with Blizzard, the Arctic attack soldier. How does he survive the cold? By being one of the meanest Joes there is. You can't freeze if your heart is as cold as ice, after all. His accessories were a feast to behold for Snow Joe fans. Skis, ice shoes, a machine gun, a pistol, removable helmet, and a backpack that could hold his skis and had removable handles. And for those who couldn't take the cold, Char-Broil heated things up as the Joe's new flamethrower.
Not bad, huh?
Described as a fairly nice guy, unlike Blizzard. But you don't want to stand too close to him in a firefight. He included a backpack with a lenticular sticker on it, a flamethrower with hose, and a removable helmet. When people talk about the downturn of quality figures after the Sunbow series ended, this Joe is always one of the exceptions and is recognized as one of the best the line ever put out. Hit and Run, the light infantryman. He's an escape artist who honed his craft by repeatedly escaping from an orphanage at a young age. He included a duffel bag with a grappling hook, a knife that could be stored on it, and a submachine gun. There was also a Target exclusive that included a working parachute. Giving the clumsy tripwire a much-needed hand was Lightfoot, the Joe's explosives expert. His approach to defusing bombs is described as zen. When it comes to his line of work, a calm approach is definitely better than a tense one. He included a backpack, a mine detector unit with a hose that could be stored on the backpack, a removable helmet, and a robot. The backpack and robot had lenticular stickers. Louisiana's muskrat was the swamp fighter, an expert in swamp and jungle warfare, untrackable thanks to knowing all the tricks to covering up his tracks and scent. He included a swamp skimmer that could be pegged onto his foot or carried on his back, a machete, yes, thank you, why didn't Recondo come with one, and a shotgun. And there has to be an animal companion every year, so the Point Man's spearhead included Max, the bobcat, hailing from St. Louis, Missouri. He was an insurance salesman before joining G.I. Joe. An ideal point man, he can get anyone to follow him without saying a word, thanks to his likable and trustworthy demeanor. He included a backpack, rifle, big knife, removable helmet, and Max, the bobcat. And the final carded Joe that year was another one of the all-time greats. Dead or alive, you're coming with him. Shockwave, the SWAT specialist. At one time, the youngest member of Detroit's SWAT team. He's the guy who kicks down the door and surveys just how bad the situation is. Heck of a singer, too. So what if he shares the same name as a Transformer? There's lots of people named John, Bill, Michael, Jennifer. The name Shockwave suits a door-kicking SWAT guy better than an analytical evil robot anyways. This figure rocks, and it wouldn't matter if he was named Optimus Prime or Fernum Snavitz. He's pure Detroit bad-to-the-bone cop. Right up there with Axel Foley and Alex Murphy. He included a backpack, a knife that could be stored on it, a submachine gun, and a pistol. Cobra added a few specialists for specific environments. For space, there was the Astro Vipers, Cobranauts who were recruited from Stratovipers, more used for satellite repair than space combat. They included a removable helmet and a backpack with removable handles, guns, and hoses. The Cobra Eels got reinforcements underwater with the Hydro Viper, Cobra's underwater elite trooper. Recruited from the ranks of eels, they're surgically modified to withstand the rigors of deep diving, augmented with synthetic webbed fingers to help with swimming. They included a pair of flippers, a scuba pack, a knife, a harpoon gun, and a removable helmet with hoses. Aw, look at that sad punum. They also included an animal companion, a devil ray. And to counter G.I. Joe's airtight was the Toxo Viper, Cobra's hostile environment trooper. Their cheap, leaky suits encouraged them to do their job as quickly as possible. They included a backpack with a hose, gun, and removable helmet. The Dreadnoks got a new member with Road Pig, the smelliest of Zartan's gang, and one of the ugliest. He included shoulder pads, a cinderblock hammer, a crossbow, and a forearm shield.
Tired of the fanatical ravings of Cobra Commander and Serpentor, Destro goes in alone.
Destro's back on the attack, out to conquer the world on his own!
And Destro's new faction, the Iron Grenadiers, were led on the battlefield by General Voltar. This mercenary had the luck of the Irish, despite being one of Destro's Scottish brigade. He included a condor, a backpack with a perch for the bird, and a submachine gun. And the other Iron Grenadier single-carded figure, the Iron Grenadier Trooper, hand-picked from Destro's bodyguards. They're not just foot soldiers, but saboteurs and provocateurs, causing as much turmoil with their psychological warfare as with their weaponry warfare. They included a sword, a submachine gun, and a pistol. The Iron Grenadiers had 3 vehicles for their debut. Destro upgraded from silver to gold with his second figure, which included a sword, and was packaged with a despoiler, a one-man hovercraft.
Destro's back, Destro's back, Destro's back, and he's on the attack!
The despoiler could be attached to the Iron Grenadier's tank, the Demon, dual elevating multi-ordnance neutralizer.
Who needs Cobra? With my Demon and the Iron Grenadiers, neither Joe nor Cobra are a match for me.
These tanks could elevate for a higher vantage point or to get through tight spaces.
Lasers beaming and cannons screaming, Joe better look out for Destro's Demon!
The incredible 2-level demon rolls over anything it can't destroy.
They included the Ferret Driver. Since demons are built with speed, range, and firepower in mind, and not crew protection, optimists were the ideal candidates for ferrets. And the AGP, the anti-gravity pod, provided the Iron Grenadiers air support.
Leading Destro's army is the anti-gravity pod, the AGP.
They were piloted by the Nullifiers, Some of the strongest, most powerful pilots of all, in order to withstand the massive G-forces experienced while piloting the AGP. For fans who say the glory days were behind G.I. Joe by 1988, take a closer look at some of the vehicles released that year, starting with the Rolling Thunder.
It's the incredible G.I. Joe Rolling Thunder.
Cobra's running scared, starting to wonder, can he survive the Rolling Thunder?
The most heavily armed G.I. Joe vehicle yet. It was equipped with multiple gun turrets, a one-man ATV, and a pair of gigantic ICBMs that each contained 6 missiles.
Machine gun cannon and a rocket tower, Rolling Thunder's an awesome power!
It was driven by Armadillo, the former big rig driver. You need someone with his lack of sense of humor when your cargo is a pair of lightning rockets. Another masterpiece for '88 was the massive Phantom X-19 stealth fighter, equipped with retractable landing gear, missiles, and a 2-man cockpit.
G.I. Joe Phantom X-19, sleek and mean and flying so fast it can't be seen.
Included was the pilot. This Chicago native is the perfect candidate for piloting the Phantom because he's a master at not being noticed. There was a legal issue in the Marvel comic with calling him Ghost Rider, since there was already a Marvel hero by that name. So to work around it, in the comic nobody could remember his name. A lot of G.I. Joe fans keep this joke up to this day, while for some others, the joke, stealthfully, goes right over their head. And a tan hood, maggot!
It's snake stopping season!
G.I. Joe, America's hero, Sergeant Slaughter, got his 3rd figure, packaged with the Warthog.
Look, it's Sergeant Slaughter riding the Warthog!
Nobody beats G.I. Joe, fighting hard against Cobra foe!
An amphibious infantry fighting vehicle. This troop transport carried 6 Joes in the back and 3 in the front for a total of 9.
G.I. Joe Warthog, over the water and in the bog, the Warthog fights like a rabid dog!
This time around, the Sarge figure included a removable campaign cover. Not that any Cobra or Iron Grenadier was man enough to knock it off his head. I guess he could use it as a projectile. Sarge can do whatever he wants, after all.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe! Yo, Joe!
The Mean Dog rolled into battle with a giant cannon and missile launchers. It could separate into 3 units.
The G.I. Joe Mean Dog's got a bad bite, looking for Cobra and itching to fight.
The gun cap is one of the most frequently lost pieces. The Mean Dog was driven by Wildcard, a klutz who manages to break almost everything he touches. He included a machete with a sheath that could be worn on his back and a removable helmet. The Desert Fox was a 6-wheeled update to the Vamp. It was armed with an anti-aircraft cannon and anti-tank missiles. It was driven by the unfortunately codenamed Skidmark. He's the exemplary soldier that makes others look bad by comparison. No one holds it against him though, because he's the fastest and most reliable driver the Joes have. Not every Joe vehicle in '88 was a home run though. The Swamp Masher was Muskrat's unofficial ride. He's featured on the box art.
Swamp Master's ready for some Cobra chasing, ripping through the swamp with cannon blazing.
This green and purple thing looks like it would have been a better fit as a Transformers G2 alt mode than a G.I. Joe vehicle. And the Skystorm X-Wing chopper was a helicopter jet with an interesting design.
It changes from a jet to an attack copter.
X-Wing, Cobra's gonna feel your sting.
It was piloted by one of the worst looking Joes yet, Windmill. He included a revolver, a former test pilot and flight instructor. And probably not on anyone's wish list for a HasLab classified update is the RPV, Remote Piloted Vehicle.
The G.I. Joe RPV, launches and it scouts out the enemy.
This mini tank shoots 1 remote piloted missile. And that's it. The Cobras got one of their best aquatic attack vehicles in '88, the Cobra Bug, a submarine that could roll on land as well.
Cobra rules the beaches with the Cobra Bug.
Over the land and deep down below, the Cobra Bug's got an eye out for Joe.
This troop carrier could hold several Cobra Eels and Hydro Vipers, and had a pair of jet skis and a detachable 2-man pod. Included was the driver, the Secto Viper. He included a pistol and a removable helmet. The butt kissers of Cobra, always looking to score brownie points with their superiors. the polar opposite of Deep Six. The Cobra's stellar stiletto gave the Defiant something to tussle with in space.
Cobra Stiletto's giving Joe the chase, then blasting its way into outer space.
It was piloted by the Star Viper, surgically upgraded with shunts implanted into the right side of their brains to stimulate reflexes. The Cobra Imp looked like a counterpart to Sarge's Triple T.
Cobra Imp's a tower of rocket power.
The rockets separate to lay down anti-vehicle mines.
That's why the Imp's so important to Cobra.
It was armed with 3 gigantic missiles. And 88 was big on 6-wheeled vehicles. The Cobra Adder carried 2 giant missiles that could be aimed at varying angles.
Cobra's got the firepower of the Adder, and it's double trouble.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe.
6 motorized action packs were released that year, 3 for G.I. Joe and 3 for the villains. They could be used as weapons or carried on the figure's back as a backpack.
Joe's battling Cobra with action packs, his secret new weapon for Cobra attacks.
The Minesweeper, mortar launcher, and machine gun.
For the Joes, there was the double machine gun, ideal for repeater, rock and roll, or roadblock. The Minesweeper, a favorite for tripwire or lightfoot. And the mortar launcher, a favorite for short fuse.
But Cobra's got new action packs too. The machine gun nest, twin missile launcher, and battle axe.
For the Cobras, the machine gun nest, a piece of portable heavy artillery with its own cover. And the twin missile radar. And the final action pack went to the Dreadnoks, the battle axe, perfect for road pig. And 5 motorized mini vehicle packs, which could also be worn as backpacks.
G.I. Joe has new vehicle packs.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe Scuba Pack, tank car and ATV, and the Cobra gyrocopter and rocket sled.
The G.I. Joe Scuba Pack for torpedo and wetsuit. The G.I. Joe tank car. Somehow I doubt Steeler, Thunder, or Heavy Metal would be caught dead on this thing. The G.I. Joe ATV. Looks like something Footloose would ride. The Cobra gyrocopter. And the Cobra rocket sled. That was it for new and original releases, but there were several reissues to pad out the rest of the 88 line. The Cobra Battle Gear Pack gave you a chance to replace all of the Cobra and Dreadnought accessories that had been lost outside. The Firebat and Vamp Mark II were available again, this time through mail-away. This version of the Vamp was more of a tan color than the previous brown version, and previous mail-away figures were offered once again, Starduster and Steel Brigade, plus a brand new mail-away figure, sort of, Super Trooper.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Super Trooper.
Introducing the Ultimate Warrior.
Unlike the previous mail-away figures of Sergeant Slaughter and the Fridge, Super Trooper was made up of mostly reused parts. As a lieutenant, he's one of the highest-ranking Joes. Everything about Super Trooper is 100% natural. No surgery, genetic splicing, or augmentation. Just some super secret new training.
There's only one way to get him. Send 4 Super Trooper certificates and a $1 handling charge. See details on specially marked packages for your Super Trooper.
A real American hero.
5 vehicles from previous years were reissued in the Tiger Force subgroup.
Joe is back! We'll stop Cobra with Tiger Force, the roughest, toughest Joe Force ever!
Tiger Force, showing the colors yellow and black. Hungry to fight and ready to attack.
The Snowcat became the Tiger Cat and came with a recolored Frostbite with a wrong-colored beard. The Dragonfly became the Tigerfly and was piloted by a recolored Recondo? And 3 Cobra vehicles were recolored as Joe vehicles.
Get those captured Cobra vehicles repainted and re-armed. They're part of Tiger Force now!
The Rattler became the Tiger Rat and included a figure named Sky Striker, who was a recolored Wild Weasel figure with a recolored Thunder head and helmet. The Water Moccasin became the Tiger Shark, and the Cobra Ferret became the Tiger Paw. Initially thought of as tacky, gaudy, or just plain impractical for blending into their environments, Tiger Force has grown a lot on a lot of G.I. Joe fans over the past few years. Manning these vehicles were Tiger Force recolors of 7 previous figures: Duke, with wrong-colored hair, Flint, Dusty, who looks just wrong without face paint, Bazooka, Tripwire, Roadblock, and Lifeline. And 5 more vehicles were recolored under the Night Force line, a Toys R Us exclusive. This was more like it. Decos that looked just as good, if not better than the original releases. The Triple T became the Night Raider, not that the Sarge ever had to sneak up on anyone in the dead of night. The Shark became the Nightshade. The Persuader became the Night Storm. The Killer Whale became the Night Striker. and the Cobra Maggot became the Night Blaster, and 6 recolored Night Force figures to go with the vehicles, available in 2 packs. All figures that had been first released the previous year in 1987. Crazy Legs, who got a major upgrade from his original color scheme. Falcon, Outback, Psych Out with wrong colored hair, Sneak Peek, and Tunnel Rat. And Battle Force 2000 figures from the previous year were reissued, this time as 2 packs, like the Night Force figures. Licensed materials were thin that year, some lunch boxes featuring Tiger Force, a puzzle, a Tiger Force sleeping bag, and party supplies. Even though the Sunbow animated series had finished, this ad appeared in the February 15, 1988 issue of Broadcasting Magazine, celebrating the continuing high ratings even though the series only existed in reruns at this point. Ballantine Books put out 6 young adult fiction books: Siege of Serpentor, Divide and Conquer, Fool's Gold, Invisibility Island, Jungle Raid, and The Sultan's Secret. And the final 4 issues of the G.I. Joe magazine were published. And the Tales of G.I. Joe continued in Marvel Comics with Real American Hero issues 67 to 81, Special Missions issues 9 to 16, and the 4th and final yearbook. And that's the history of G.I. Joe 1988 edition. Still many exceptional figure and vehicle offerings, despite the glory days being in the rearview mirror. What was your favorite release of this year? What did you think of Tiger Force and Night Force? Share your thoughts below. Special thanks to 3D Joes for all the box art, file cards, and 360s of the items I don't own. Thanks to David for the beautifully restored Cobra Bug, and Peter Joe for the Tiger Force loaners. For more exclusive Joe content, head on over to patreon.com/MichaelMercy, or hit the join button to become a channel member, which will allow you to drop a custom Cobra or Arashikage emoji in the comments. Remember to push like, and to join the tribe, hit subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and don't let anyone steal your joy. Nerdmaste.